And I don't know about you, but I hate speakers who are just cheesy on stage. They're like, oh, everyone stand up and shake yourselves, and oh, shake your neighbor's hand, and oh, do this and do that. And I hate cheesy interaction. So how do you make your presentation interactive, engaging without being cheesy? First thing you have to understand is that it's not the interaction itself, it's who you are as a speaker. When Tony Robbins tells people to stand up and to shake around and do all this stuff, it's not cheesy. In fact, that's the thing that people talk about as the experience he creates, because it's who he is as a speaker. There has to be a very clear reason and a clear purpose behind the interaction that you want everyone to engage in. I'm about to show you a clip from one of my presentations where, if you don't know me, by the way, I'm a mentalist. So I do these mind reading demonstrations, and one of the things that I do is at the very beginning I tell everyone to stand up and to reach into their pocket and grab a coin and hold it like this between their fingers. So this interaction that I do it's very engaging, and the reason it's engaging is because, number one, it has a purpose, and the purpose is because I'm going to influence them. I'm going to say that I'm going to do this thing with the coin, and I'm going to influence everyone in the audience. So there's a purpose behind it, instead of, oh, everyone just stand up and just do this just to do it. There has to be a reason behind what you do, why you do what you do. And there also has to be think of it as you being in character as well. If you do things out of character, this is why it's not cheesy when Tony Robbins does it, because he does it in character. When I tell people to stand up and do something, they realize that what I'm about to do is a mind reading demonstration, so it's in character, and they're much more willing to do it. If, on the other hand, if you're just a speaker and they know that you're doing an interactive thing just to be interactive, just to be engaging, people are going to be bored with it. So let me show you this real quick.
Now the rest of you, we're going to do this again. The rest of you, I want you to just put mine back, switch it around a couple times, bring it forward again. Go ahead and bring it forward. Okay, perfect. Now the second time, the people who are standing, they usually keep it in the same hand. So go ahead, if you kept it in the same hand, sit down for them. Perfect.
So you see, that was just a clip where I was just telling everyone stand up because I'm going to influence everyone, and it was all about the influence. It wasn't just, oh, let me just do this just to be engaging. If people think that you are just doing something just to be engaging, then the experience is unwelcomed. If you're doing something because it's who you are, it's just natural, then people are much more likely to do it for you. Now, a really good way to make things engaging is to take physical words into, well, to take your words and to make them physical, to make them tangible. So a perfect example of this is what Penn and Teller did. Penn and Teller, the magicians, they have this show called Bullshit. And on the show, they were talking about vaccines, and they were saying like, oh, everyone, well, a lot of people are believing that vaccines cause all these dyslexia and all this stuff. So they were saying BS, that's not how it works. And instead of just saying it, they actually did a demonstration. So they they had like this glass, and behind the glass they had like these little people, so you could see through the glass, and there was these little people there. And then on the other side there was no glass, so it was just these little people just right here. So there's glass, no glass, and they said, okay, this glass represents you being vaccinated. And they took these balls and they said, okay, chicken pox, and they threw the balls, and of course it hit the glass and bam, it bounced off. But then they threw the ball at the one without the glass and it knocked everyone over. And they kept doing this with all these balls and just throwing stuff, and everyone who didn't get vaccinated was freaking dead. Everyone who did get vaccinated, they were good because they had this glass. And what they did with this demonstration is they made it very engaging, very interactive, because they took their words, instead of just saying, oh, vaccines are good for you and all that stuff, they took the words and they made a physical demonstration out of it. And then a really important thing to make your presentations very engaging and interactive, you have to understand the power of energy. And your audience, they focus on you for the energy of the whole presentation. So if your energy is high, their energy is going to be high. If your energy is low, their energy is going to be low. Interaction and engagement is mental. It's not physical. So that's why when you see speakers who say, oh, everyone raise your hand and do this, people aren't engaged mentally, so they just kind of tune out. On the other hand, what I'm about to show you is a clip from one of my presentations where it's at the end of my presentation, and I do this slam poem, and it's very intense, especially towards the end, which is what I'm going to show you. I'm like screaming and stuff, and everyone in the audience is just engaged, just hooked on this thing because it's all about energy. The interaction is completely based on a mental engagement. That's what engagement is. So let's watch this.
Succeed because when you think, you become. For our lives are lived by the dominating thoughts in our minds. Become the best you can be the best at what you do, and surround yourself by the outcomes you wish to produce. Because if you work hard in your job, you will make a living, but if you work hard on yourself, you will make a fortune. I see the difference. Thank you.
You'll notice that people are fixated when they see that, and that's how you make a presentation interactive. You want to focus on mental engagement, not just physical engagement. They have to be mentally engaged, and the way you do that with the energy, you have to make sure there's a purpose behind what you're doing instead of just being cheesy from the get-go, and it has to be just part of who you are as a speaker.